Hey there, Math Kings and Queens. This is a little clip that hopefully helps you understand these absolute value equations. Okay, so this particular problem is asking us to figure out the absolute value of 1 plus some number is equal to 7. First thing I'm going to mention is you need to make sure you understand the following, and that is that the absolute value of 7 is equal to 7, but the absolute value of negative 7 is also equal to 7. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, these problems are going to be a little bit tricky for you to solve. But that is, in fact, step 1. Based on that little bit of info, and I'll call this all step 1, there are actually going to be 2 different answers to this problem. And you will see that as we move along. All right? So we're going to solve for 7 on the left-hand side, and we're going to say 1 plus x is equal to 7. But we also are going to have to solve the problem that 1 plus x to negative 7. All right, and then we will take the next step here. Working on the problem on the left, we're going to try and get this positive x by itself. We're going to take 1 away from both sides, and the answer is x is equal to 6. And on the right side, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides, and we are going to get the answer x is equal to negative 8. As you can see, the answer to this problem is x equals 6, as well as x is equal to negative 8. And let's plug this back in up top and take a look. So I'm going to erase this stuff. And I'll leave the answers down low. All right. One plus 6, the absolute value of that is equal to 7. And sure it is. This says the absolute value of 7 is equal to 7, and it totally checks out. Let's use this other answer, the negative 8, and it is the absolute value of 1 plus negative 8 is equal to 7, and 1 plus negative 8 is negative 7, and the absolute value of negative 7 equals 7, and that checks out as well. Hopefully that makes sense, and that's what's going on in this page, and I'll go ahead and do one more example with you guys. This problem gets a little bit more confusing because there's this negative symbol, right? So this is saying negative the absolute value of 2 take away x is equal to negative 6, or the opposite of the absolute value of 2 take away x is negative 6. We're going to set it up in the exact same manner that we did before, and I'm going to write out these 2 problems. So let me just start off by writing this or describing this over here. This basically is saying if in fact we have this negative the absolute value of 6, it's equal to negative 6. So that will give us the solution. If we can get an answer in which inside of this absolute value we end up with a 6, we will have a correct answer. Also, we're going to have two different solutions here. Our other solution is if we end up with a negative 6 in the absolute value sign, this will work too. So our two solutions are going to be, we're going to solve to try to get 6 as well as solve to try to get negative 6, and these are the two responses in this particular example. Alright, so let's go to work and see what we come up with here. Okay, so 2 take away x is equal to 6, and this 6 comes from right here. We're going to take 2 away from both sides. And we end up with, don't forget this is a minus x here, so this turns into negative x is equal to 4. The opposite of x is equal to 4. So that means, and let's make sure we fill in our final answer here, if the opposite of x is equal to 4, then x is equal to negative 4. This is one of the solutions to this problem, and we'll go back and check it in a second. Let's look at the right side here. We are going to take 2 away from both sides. We are trying to get the variable on its own, and the variable here, this is important, this is a negative x. We take 2 away from both sides, and we are left with negative x is equal to negative 8. Okay, negative 6 and negative 2 gives us negative 8. And once again, we can't leave it in this form. We are saying, okay, the opposite of x is negative 8. So the real x is going to be equal to positive 8. We took the opposite of both of these. Okay, these are the answers. Let's plug it in and see if it works. I would take a look at this right now before I turn the page, and really you may want to pause this, make sure you understand the flow of what's happening here, because this is a little bit tricky, especially if you're seeing this for the first time. So go ahead and pause if you need to look over this, and the final thing I'm going to do is check these two answers, negative 4 and positive 8, on the next page. So here we go with our check. I'm rewriting the problem. And let's plug in our negative 4 as an answer. We've got 2 minus, and we are saying that x is equal to negative 4. Hopefully you could follow that. We took this value of negative 4 and replaced it with the x. And we still have this minus sign from before. Alright, so 2 take away negative 4. This turns into 6. And it's the absolute value. This negative sign is still with us. And the answer to this is negative 6. That checks out. Let's do our final check and be done with this problem. Our other answer was x is equal to positive 8. So let's go ahead and plug this in. The negative absolute value of 2 minus 8 is equal to negative 6. Here's our 8, and I just put it right down into the problem. 2 take away 8 is negative 6. The absolute value of negative 6. And let's bring our sign down here. All of this is equal to negative 6. 6. and this turns into negative 6, which equals negative 6. This is done. Hopefully that makes sense. That's 10 minutes of pain or pleasure. Open mindset here. Good luck with these problems.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.